Welcome to Alto Insider in 2024. We are back and we are back today with Mike as well. Throughout the year, we've got some really great content and updates to show you. Some really great releases that are going to be coming over the next couple of quarters that, we're bringing to you in our Alto Insider. And again, making sure we get plenty of partners on to talk about the great integrations that we also have within the system. Today, like we mentioned, we have got Mike from Homebox. He's going to introduce you to Homebox and what they do. On the Alto side, we're just going to have a quick look at Alto client accounting. It's coming to the time of year now where landlords are starting to ask lots of information about end of year statements. We're going to start getting requests from HMRC. So what reporting and what information is available within the Alto system? We've also got the Q&A. So again, feel free to post us any questions throughout. We'll do our best to answer those either within the chat and time depending at the end, we might do a live Q&A session as well. So fire your questions in throughout and we'll do our best to answer those or get back to you with those answers. But let's kind of kick things off today. So client accounting in Alto. Like I mentioned, our main focus is going to be around the end of year. But Alto is available to manage all of your tenant payments and transactions. And if I just share my screen as well, like I said, you can use your property management dashboard to set up payments, to process payments, make those payments within Alto. Using Alto to reconcile your transactions to make sure, again, you balance with your client accounts and deposit accounts. When it comes to end of year financials, though, we're going to give you a couple of tips on the types of reports and information that's available to you. And we're going to look at, again, how we can bring that information into Property File as well. So let's head into the Alto system. Now, one of the key demands we're going to get is from our landlords requesting end of year statements. Yep, you can choose in Alto to send those as regular as they are processed, whether that be monthly or quarterly, but we're always going to get the requirement to send an overarching yearly one or for a certain quarter. There's a number of ways you can start to do this. Now, one of the simplest is myself here, I've requested a period statement. If I come into the contact within Alto and into Docs, I can start to prepare and send that out to my landlord. By clicking on Send Period Statement, it will ask me what date range I require. I can start to choose that information, beginning to end, and if I want to include any NRL tax information within it, that will now produce my statement. It will give me a breakdown, obviously, the period that we've asked for. It's going to show me the income that's been received. It's going to start to show me breakdown of expenditure that has been paid out as well, including the total expenditure and the net income. Plus, again, we've included our NRL tax there, so our NRL deductions that have been taken. As I work my way down, it will now give me a property by property analysis as well, including income and expenditure, and it's breaking down each piece of expenditure as well. I can choose to now print that, add it to the timeline, send that out myself, or I can automatically have Alto send that out. So by selecting that send option, this is now going to email that and text that information across to my contact. The text is going to tell them that there is a statement for them to view in their email, rather than provide all of that level of detail within the text. Anything I do there, again, we can see that will then generate onto the timeline. We can also choose to do this within the accounting tab as well, and we can do this in bulk. So if I head to accounts and period statements, here again, I can choose, and again, ignore my appointments popping up. I can choose that for a certain branch. I can start to select my date ranges. Again, let's just go from then to here. I can choose my contact delivery method. Do I want to print all of these? Or would I like to send these in the contact method that's set up within that individual? Like we saw with James there, it's set as email and an SMS. But what this will also give me in this section is the ability to choose what information is going to go. So I could just give them an overarching statement rather than property by property, total income and total expenditure across their whole portfolio. I could choose to obviously break that down property by property, similar to what we saw on that last statement as well. Or I could even itemize that. And that will now give me, again, based on how their revenue is coming in, whether that's a weekly rent or a monthly rent, every time that rent come in. You know, January, February's, March's, April's, didn't pay in June, so that won't be on there. And again, I can choose whether I want to print the itemized breakdown of expenditure. Do I just want a total? This is the total amount you paid out, or again, every item that was paid out for. Now, I could select every single landlord in here. Maybe it's, you know, a point in April, and we're going to do that automatically to all of our landlords and create and send those. Or I could start to search for a particular landlord. So I'm going to go for myself again here. Here I am. I can select myself here, and I can now go and create that statement. And just like we saw earlier, that will now add it to the timeline, and we can start to see copies of those. Again, this one here giving me the total income, total expenditure, and then a breakdown property. This information here as well, when we look at the month-to-month expenditure rather than the overarching period statement, but landlords can gather this information themselves via Property File. So if you've invited any of your contacts to Property File, that will give the ability for a landlord to log in, go to their accounts tab where they can see every single statement you've sent them. They can start to view further date ranges, and they can select that and then instantly download that statement for that period and view it. Now, when we generated the period statement, that won't appear in this list. This is purely just going to show them the month by month or weekly statements been generated. But you do have the ability, of course, to go and share documents with your landlord. So heading back into Alto, if I was to go into one of James's properties that has a tenancy on it, and I'm just going to go into tenancies here, I have the ability to come into documents and upload a document here and then share that with the landlord on Property File. So I could send him a copy of his period statement, then upload it against one of his tenancies and share that, and that will then be available for the landlord to see. Again, on Property File, a landlord can start to see when their last payment was received, current tenancy, how long that's got to run on it, the branch that operates for them, plus how their property was marketed, the viewings that took place, and the tenancy information, including any shared documents as previously mentioned. From a tenant perspective, again, tenants have the ability to log into Property File, report their maintenance issues, but a tenant can come in again and see documents, as well as start to see their account balance. So if you get any questions from your tenants around balances, they can pop in, they can see their current balance here. They can also then see a breakdown of what they've been charged, how that's accumulated, as well as any payments that they've made as well. So really simple to share that information with our landlords, our tenants, give them access via Property File, as well as produce those period statements within your contract record or within the accounts tab at bulk level. Now, again, as we start to approach the end of the tax year, there's going to be a number of reports that might be requested from whether that's different people or different entities. So as I head into the reporting suite and property management financials, a few that we'd recommend would be your Schedule 23. This will give you the ability to show every landlord their gross income, addresses, and again, there's a breakdown of what's going to be provided here. You can choose the period that you want that for as well. You can do your custom date range. You can filter that on branches. Again, if we were to create that as a exported CSV, that information then can be taken and put into HMRC Schedule 23 formats and sent across to them. We also have our fees as well. So we might want to start to look at the level of income that an agency has made across the year or across a period. So again, if we run our process fee analysis, I might want to look at this particular agency, what money they've made in the last 3 months. I'd always recommend we kind of start to order that and group that by charge item. And if I generate that report, that's then going to start popping up in my report requests up here, ready for me to open. And this is now going to give me a breakdown of every single piece of income that I have generated. So we can start to see like my administration fees, who they relate to. As I come down, I can see the total amount of money I've made in administration, including net, gross, and VAT. I can see what I've made in letting fees. Again, total amounts and management commissions. And as we scroll right to the bottom, we can then see our total income generated for that period. Now, these fees obviously have got invoices attached to them that we would have sent out to relevant people or have been part of statements. You can also start to capture that information for importing into things like Sage and Xero. So what I've done here is I've got my fee export reports, got my accrual report and my cash report. If I was to come into here, I could start to say, how do I want to select that? What period again do I want? And then what export profile am I going to use? And this is created in the back end of Alto. And this is where you'll tell Alto whether you use the likes of Sage, Xero, what accounting platform, how you account, whether that's cash or accrual, and then your nominal codes for things like your letting fees, your management fees, and your commissions. And if I was then to generate this report, that will now give me a report that I can upload into whether it be Sage or Xero, and it will do all of that work for me, including the invoice numbers, whether they were paid, and the nominal code work as well. So as we start to approach the tax year, start to look at sending out your period statements for landlords, sharing those on Property File, start to get your house in order in terms of your process fee reports, your Schedule 23s, and your export cash or accrual reporting as well. There's our whistle-stop tour today of Alto Accounting. But again, feel free to reach out to our training team. You can contact us at altotraining@houseful, houseful.co.uk. If you require any additional training or support, you've also got your Alto Help Centre as well. Loads of detailed articles on how to utilize these areas. Otherwise, I'm going to hand over to Mike, who's going to introduce us to Homebox. Mike, over to you.
Thank you. And thanks very much for having us on as well. Really keen just to obviously just spend this time, I suppose, mainly introducing how we can help you via your Alto account. So just to give you a little bit of background before, I suppose, I sort of dive in and kind of show you around a little bit of functionality that we have at Homebox. We're, as a company, about 7 years old now. For those of you who are wondering, actually, why have I not heard the name much outside the last year and a half or so, we actually used to be known as Billing Better until we did an acquisition and a rebrand. So we've been known as Homebox for a little while now. But ultimately, what we're trying to do for agents is we're trying to do, well, two things mainly. One thing, save you guys an absolute ton of time when it comes to processing things like utilities, void periods, utility notifications, when there's an end or a change of tenancy. And what we're also focusing on as well is introducing tenant packages into the market as well. So actually giving all of your new tenants the ability to really do sort of like their home setup when they move in very quickly, very conveniently, very stress-free, which helps your new tenants out, but it also allows you as an agent to actually earn income through our platform as well, which you'll see shortly. The reason I'm here, of course, with James on this Alto webinar this morning is we actually integrate Homebox into Alto as well. So you can send us a lot of the data that we need via your Alto platform when you update your tenancies in there as well. So main thing, of course, is it just cuts off really another screen that you guys, I know as agents, you have probably about 19, 20 portal open at any one time and thinking, oh, great, I've got to type the same stuff out over and over again. Actually, we can integrate your Homebox account into Alto. So it kind of just saves you a bit of time because we can piggyback off the data that's already in there as well. That's a bit of an overview of what we're doing. And what I'll just do, if it's okay, James, is I will just start sharing my screen on my end.
Go for it.
From here, I think I can just do that automatically on my side. I'm just going to check with James that is coming through sort of loud and clear.
I can see that for Bignell Avenue is on the screen.
Excellent.
Insane.
Absolutely. I'm pleased to confirm for GDPR reasons that it's a fictional address as well. It's not like a live address of someone processing anything through the system in real time. First things first, for anyone who is a Homebox customer or would like to become one, anyone who sits on one of our demos, what they get access to is their own Homebox portal. So even though we integrate into Alto, we still give you full account functionality. We create you a Homebox account. And what it looks like is like this thing that you're seeing on your screen now as well. So realistically, what we want to do for you as agents is give you access to the account, integrate it into Alto. First things first, I'll focus on, because I know I said we do, one of two things. This is part one. What we want to do first thing for you as a letting agent, realistically, is save you guys time when it comes to processing your utilities at change of tenancy. I speak to a lot of agents out there who, sort of say, well, actually, one of the main issues I'm having in branch at the moment is a lot of my PMs, my negotiators, are sat around with this massive stack of bills on their desk from water companies, energy companies, council tax seems to be a bit of a pain at the moment. And they seem to be spending a lot of time on hold to these organizations, trying to correct issues with billing, hoovering up time. And to be honest, most of them I speak to, naturally, you guys want to focus on, the money-making parts of your job rather than the admin tasks. So the first thing Homebox can do for you is save you time doing all of this so that you guys don't have to bother. It's like an outsource. First things first, for you guys who are Alto users, when we turn an integration on for you here, when you log on to your account, say, for instance, one day your tenant picks up a phone and rings you and says, look, I live at 4 Bignell Avenue and I'm serving my month's notice to move out. What you can do is log on to your Alto account and log into the tenancy and actually literally just end the tenancy on there, or serve notice that tenancy is coming to an end on the date that the tenant has told you. As soon as you change that status in Alto onto awaiting vacate or awaiting move out, we will then get the data. It will pull into the Homebox account, and we're now in a position for you guys, to be able to help you guys save a lot of time. The second bit of information that you can send us on your Alto account is your new tenancy. So when you guys have advertised on Rightmove or Zoopla or on the market, when you've got that information and you've got a firm date for your tenants to move in and they've been referenced and signed their agreement, just add the new tenancy again into Alto and just change the status in there into active when that tenancy becomes active. And again, good news is we then get your new tenancy data and it lands in here. So far, I've kind of told you realistically what we need you guys to do. Here's what we're now about to do for you. So we do a number of things. First things first, we actually have an integration with the National Energy Database. So for every property that you send us, it lands in here in your Homebox account. And the first thing that we show you are all of the current utility providers that exist in the property. So, bit of a time saver. We'll show you who all the energy companies are that are in the property, the water, the local authority provider. We'll even go as nuclear as showing you all the electric meter and gas meter information, so things like serial numbers, MPAN numbers, MPRN, even what type of meters installed at the property. So it's a real time saver first and foremost, because I know that information can take a lot of digging. What we'll also do for you when you've added your data in there is we'll also then do all of the utility notifications for you. So this is a very tech-driven solution. What we do is we then contact the council tax, the water, the energy companies, and basically serve notice that there's a move coming and give them all the dates and the new tenancy details again, so that you don't have to. There's also a nice little digital trail in your Homebox account that starts to build. if you ever get a landlord ringing you up, for instance, saying, what's happening at 4 Bignell Avenue, is everything all in hand? You guys can literally just click into any address that you want in your Homebox account, and we'll actually provide you with evidence of these notifications being served as well. So it all gathers in one place. The last bit that really helps you guys as well, particularly if you've got any void periods at properties, is we do also give you an environment in Homebox where you guys can log in and add your meter readings as they come in as well. So things like, for instance, when you get your checkout inventory, you can press the add meter reading button and just dab the electric, gas and water info in there. And a few weeks later, when the tenant does a check-in, or you guys do a check-in with your new tenants, when the check-in inventory comes in, you can do the exact same thing. The reason why I would encourage you to do that is by adding that information in there. First and foremost, we will then log those readings against the suppliers for you. So again, saves you a job, saves you having to ring out, send all that info out on various emails, because we'll log those readings with the relevant suppliers. And also, particularly in relation to void periods as well, it allows us, if you've registered a void in here, to then assume the supply via our preferred energy partner to take over the supply. What it guarantees you is it actually guarantees you an accurate void bill as well, with an additional benefit of a £15 credit against that void bill as well. So I do find, those agents who send us these voids and these leads in this way, most of the void bills that ever come back at them, whoever the liable bill payer is, that £15 credit is in a good position to wipe out the standing charges that are built up as well. So there's a nice added benefit on your landlord side as well. But this whole first piece, guys, is centered around send us your move outs and your move ins. We'll show you all the information. We'll do the utility notifications. Literally, we're in a position to save you, I would realistically say, 90 minutes for every single move that you send. So that's 90 minutes, an hour and a half that we can give you back to concentrate on stuff that isn't quite as laborious as, utility updating at change as well. So really, really handy. We do work with a lot of the brand agents out there as well. Some good testimonials I can show you surrounding how we help you guys out with this. The final part is I've kind of shown you how we're going to save you some time. The other benefit of using us is, and this really helps your new tenants out, is when you add your new tenancy onto Alto, so submit it through your Alto platform, what we're also in a really good position to do is actually contact your new tenants and actually help them out get set up with their utilities as well. So what you're looking at on the screen now is what we actually show to your tenants. So when you send us a new tenancy, they initially get a text and an email that opens up this environment you're looking at now. It's really quite helpful for them because, as well as just sort of, showing them what they can have, we actually also show them what the current utility situation is at the address they're planning to move into. So even if they choose not to engage with this that I'm about to show you now, it still, educates them surrounding, if you just leave everything as is, this is how much you'll be paying. This is the suppliers. This is the broadband speeds that you've got currently at the property as well. So it kind of helps them out understand that. But I suppose what we're asking them to do is actually come into the Homebox environment, which is a digital environment. We do have a call out team, by the way, who consult with your tenants as well. But the message we're imparting on your new tenants here is, please don't spend all weekend going on various comparison sites and, having an argument with your spouse because you can't find the best deals. Have another argument with your spouse because you've got 9 direct debits set up throughout, throughout your bank accounts that pay for all of this in various segments. What we're actually offering your tenants the ability to do is come in and customize the bill that they want. So they can raffle through, for instance, all the different energy tariffs, pay by usage, unlimited tariffs. There's all the major sort of internet, broadband, TV providers in here. So your Vodafones, your Virgins, your Skys, your TalkTalks. They can literally come in and customize all the billing that they want to include. They can include their water and council tax in here, TV license as well. There's some good perks. But the idea, guys, is away from just saving them time and stress getting set up with all the stuff that they need to get set up with, we're also showing them a bill at the bottom. And the idea, guys, is that they actually get one bill that they then pay to us every single month. They literally pay that one bill to us, that cost you can see down there. And what we then do is set up a little virtual bank account in their name, and essentially reconcile all of their bills for them. So we then administer paying gas, council tax there. It literally just condenses it all down into one easy digestible payment as well. So it's a convenience factor for your new tenants. There's a lot of agents who see value in this. The final part I've got for you here as well on this little whistle stop tour, every order that comes in here that your new tenants would make with us or set up with us, we do actually pay you commission for as well. So we're in a position to actually reward you financially for every order that comes in on that side as well. It's a really, really good little, string to add to an agent's bow as well. Those agents who do engage with this and promote this, and there's materials I can show you that you can use to do that, such as a little calendar you can open up in your Homebox account to book your tenants in. There's a lot of agents who like giving their tenants their option. We don't insist that, one thing we're not doing, guys, by the way, is saying to your tenants, your agent has insisted that you do it this way. It's very much presented as an option for them on top of just doing it all themselves. But it's a great little option to add in. And there is a massive appetite for it at the moment as well. That's pretty much it for like a whistle stop tour. Happy obviously just to hand back to James as well, because naturally any questions that have come in, keen to make sure they're understood as well.
Yeah, of course. I'll reshare. Bring up the appropriate. There we are. So Homebox, all utilities in one area. Now I've gone too far with my slides. There we are. But Q&A. We're going to do a few questions. We've had quite a few come in. Now, what I have had here is one from Simon. Says they use a similar system already. They'd be interested to understand how that interface works with Alto. But I'm going to put the question here is, can they purely just work from Alto, or do they need to go into Homebox as well?
Sure. So yes, it's a hybrid situation at the moment. So the move out and the move in data we pull from Alto. From there, so you can literally exclusively you just put that information into Alto, and we will get your move out data and your move in data without you having to ever log in and type stuff into here. The input, however, that we would need on here, I suppose, is the bit that's in the middle. So, for instance, particularly the meter readings. The only reason anybody would add any data in here is if you want us to log the meter readings against the various suppliers for you and get everything updated. You just have to log into your Homebox account and press that Add Meter Reading button. So in summary, start and end can all pull from Alto. Just that little bit of meter reading management would have to be inputted into Homebox for the time being.
Right. And I'm just going to open up a poll on the quiz as well, just to kind of gauge if people are interested in Homebox. Fill that in while we're going for our Q&A. But I've got another one which says, are there any contracts to use with Homebox at all?
So no, not at all. So from our point of view, this is absolutely a free to use service for you guys who are interested as well. So what we do normally, the way we look after you here is we set up a Homebox account. We deliver training to whoever is in branch who would use this on a day-to-day basis. But in terms of T's and C's, luckily, we don't have a lot of agents who leave us, so to speak. But if you're one of those who use this for a few months and for some reason turned around to us and said, look, this has been on for a few months, I'm just not seeing any benefit, it's as simple as you can just simply turn the integration or your Homebox account off as well. So yeah, there's no fixed term contract at all.
Voids. So who would the void bills be addressed to from Jenny?
Definitely. So good news is you have the ability to edit that information on here. So you can actually do this from your Alto account as well, but I'll show you from our perspective as well. When tenancy data pulls through or void data pulls through, and you can edit this as well, in the Homebox account, you actually have the ability to dictate for each address who actually gets the bill, who the responsible bill payer is as well. So on a move by move basis, you can actually tell us who that void bill lands on as well, because I know some agents take responsibility for bill ownership, whereas some are like, I don't get involved, I just send it over to the landlord and it's processed. So it's whoever the liable bill payer is, and you do have the ability to dictate that per address as well.
Brilliant. I know we're pretty much at time, but one more question, because they are flying in thick and fast here. If my tenant decides not to take tenant package, what will happen to the utility updates?
Sure. So they carry on as normal. So just to be clear, when we move a particular supply over and we get in touch with the tenants to sort of say, look, do your new home set up here with us, say for instance, a particular tenant turns around and says, absolutely not, for whatever reason, I've just decided to do it all myself. The good news is at that point is we then can, it doesn't interrupt the other bit of what we're doing here, which is, doing your notifications, doing your bill management. That all still carries on as normal, just away from your new tenants.
Brilliant. Thank you. Like I say, we are at time. I know there's more questions that have come through. We do our best to obviously get back to you on those. We share those that are for Mike with him that he can respond. And again, likewise for the ones you've posted to us. Otherwise, I'd like to thank everyone for joining us on our first Alto Insider of 2024. If you want to learn some more about Homebox, I've got a link here. We will send out these slides to you to click on the link. Otherwise, our next one will be on February the 22nd, where we'll be looking at winning more instructions and tools that are going to save you time in order to do that. So thank you for all attending today.